What's up, Online Empire Academy? I am so excited to be here. I'm Joshua Woodward, and I have the incredibly special guest, Dean Soto. What's up, man?
Hey, what's up? What's up? I haven't been on this podcast in a long time. I forgot it even existed, man. You've like taken over and kicked me out. Uh, just,
I'm just doing my job.
and I apologize. I am at a coffee shop. I usually walk to a coffee shop down the street, and I forgot that it's right next to a traffic area, and they play music on the outside. So if it's too loud, just let me know.
Word. Well, it's gonna be a good day anyway it goes because you guys, it's our 100th episode. We did it. We hit the 100 mark. I'm so excited. It's been a wild journey, and why I wanted to bring Dean on was just to kind of talk through the history. I mean, it's gone through so many different transitions, and thank you so much for the people who have stuck with us through this whole process. I'm really excited where we're going, but I kind of wanted to share the history and just where we've come from and how we've progressed and grown with you as the empire.
Heck
But first
yeah,
things
and
first,
I love it.
we have a very special thank you. We have Deirdre recently came on and talked about taxes. Absolutely incredible. If you guys have not gone and watched that webinar, we're actually giving you a chance to watch it for free. This is the gift. This is the big thing. We wanted to say thank you for sticking with us for 100 episodes. So it's going to be 100% free to go watch this masterclass. And Dean, correct me if I'm wrong, but you can find that at the onlineempireacademy.com/taxes. You just muted yourself.
I just muted myself. Yes, that's right. Gosh, we're making this 100th episode just absolutely spotless and perfect.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yes, so they can go there. The cool thing too is that people were there live and they actually paid for that particular thing. Obviously, the benefit in that was they got to ask all the questions that they wanted and stuff like that. But you get at least as of recording this, it's tax season, guys, and what better way to save a lot of money or get back a lot of money with your Amazon business or your business in general than to understand really how you can have the least amount of tax liability for your business. I know you and I had talked about taxes, and just when I told you a few things on what you can expense and things like that. I'm not a CPA, but it made a big difference in your tax liability. Yeah.
Absolutely. No, and actually this specific webinar, I was able to ask some of my questions. And one of the biggest ones was the room I'm actually in right now. Like I use about, a little less than 50% of my house for work, whether it's my garage holding all my inventory or this actual room, which is our office. And so I got to ask some amazing questions about that. And it ended up saving me about $400 a month. So absolutely incredible, absolutely amazing opportunity just to go listen to this. I mean, again, people paid to go into this and they got to ask the questions, but we're giving it away because we see the value in it. And because, I mean, I personally have saved so much money because of this masterclass. So,
Yep.
huge benefit, guys. And we're really excited to be able to give this to you.
Love it. 100th episode. Woo.
Woo, woo, woo. So, Dean, kind of share. I know that you really championed this in the beginning, and I want our audience, for those of the people who haven't been with us, kind of share where we started and why we got this started.
Well, that's actually how far do you want me to go back? Because I've always had it on my heart to be able to do a podcast where we're just helping people who are either entrepreneurs or want to be entrepreneurs or have a business and they want to get to the next level. And really this podcast started a completely different name under Entrepreneur Idea Dads podcast with Brett and I, 3-4 years ago. And we could never really just kind of, it was spotty, it was off and on, and it was fun. A lot of people, and I'm sure some people listening, that's where you guys heard us, was on the Entrepreneur Idea Dads podcast. In fact, like Dwayne Malik, who's one of he sells, definitely 5 figures a month on Amazon. That's where he had heard us and how he started his Amazon business and went from, I think, working at AT&T to being full-time on Amazon. with his family. And so the thing for us was we always wanted to do that, but it was we didn't. I don't know. My personality is not. I'm not a good host for podcasts. Brett is. He's much better, but he doesn't have as much time. And eventually we were like, hey, Josh is really, really, really good at with his stage presence, and at least we kind of wanted to make him feel like he was really good. I'm just kidding. But we're like, hey, what a perfect way to really bring a lot of value, because you have your own things that you're doing with eBay and your Schwinn bicycles and Pinterest and all that other stuff. Why not see if Josh wanted to do this podcast? And man, it went from, I think we had like 67 episodes. It went from like 67 episodes to now we're at our 100th, and it's not even been a year. And all I know is that just seeing people in Facebook groups and on our YouTube channel and all that other stuff saying how much they love the podcast. Guess what? That never really happened. That never really happened before at all. So it's pretty amazing to see where this has come, and what a blessing it's been with you, Josh, growing it into what it is, and how much it's helped people.
I've absolutely loved the journey, and love the journey. I mean, we've grown and developed so much more than where we started. And one of the biggest things that I'm excited about for the season, coming up, and I'm sure we'll be talking about things in the 200th episode that I never thought imaginable. But one of the things that we really championed in the last month or so, and actually 2 months, is YouTube, and getting onto YouTube and building a presence there. And you guys, we're seeing some amazing journeys happen through that, and connections with people, other YouTube stars, and it's just been fun because there's a community out there who's dying to know the information, and I get to spend every day bringing people on who have that information. Because, like, frankly, I don't have all the information. I don't have all the knowledge. I don't have all the resources. But my favorite thing is learning. And, like, if anybody's have ever watched our master classes, I always have my notebook ready to go and ready to write notes, because I want to learn just as much as you guys. And I've just been excited about who we have, and who's been coming on, and what we've been teaching. I mean, taxes, obviously that's a huge topic, and to be able to find somebody who not only loves Amazon but also teaches classes like on taxes, oh my gosh, it's like the most valuable resource ever.
Totally. And not only that, she, like, for some strange reason, loves doing it and makes it really fun and interesting. And I know for me, as soon as I hear taxes, my eyes glaze over. But when she's talking about it, it's like, oh, that's actually it's interesting. Okay, cool. Well, I just saved $1,000. That's awesome. To have the taxes, and then we have guests who talk about uni, and guests that have talked about so many different things. I mean, our podcast generally is very Amazon focused, very, at least for the time being it is. It's just because much of our audience is Amazon. You sell on eBay and Amazon. I sell on Amazon doing drop shipping and things like that. I also do a lot of the info stuff and marketing and online stuff, but generally it's Amazon, and it's cool to see how just very slowly it's starting to move into realms that will help to diversify people's businesses.
Absolutely. And that for me is the biggest focus, is I want to learn how to diversify. I mean, we just had Dave Espino on talking about Udemy, and I mean that that got my juices flowing. I'm developing a class right now, and I'm really excited because it's stuff that I love talking about, and I love learning about. And if I hadn't had Dave on, I wouldn't be doing this. And it's just another way to diversify. I mean, it's so funny. I just got a notification on my phone that I sold something on eBay. And that wouldn't have been possible if it wasn't for Jason T. Smith. I mean, if you guys don't know him, he's another guest we've had on. And he does the Thrifting Board. It's a Facebook group. And the knowledge I got from that is why, I mean, I just sold a pair of Nikes. I would have never grabbed Nikes. It just, they're old shoes, somebody's used shoes, and I just sold them. So it's like, so much of my knowledge and so much of where I've grown, I can testify from this group and from what we're doing. So thank you so much for the people who've been a part of this. And we want to know where you guys want to see this go. I mean, the biggest part and the biggest thing for me is bringing content that's it's going to relate to your personal life, and it's going to relate to who you are and what you're doing. And I want to know about it personally. I want to know where you guys want to. We just did a poll for the end of the year of what you guys want to see. And so there's three main areas we're focusing on. And the first is sourcing, is whether it's private label or just better sourcing techniques. We're going to be focusing on that. And I have some amazing people lined up for that specifically. The second is growing. Like if you're wanting to build systems and or a group of people to hire on, we're going to be talking about that. That's another area that a lot of people wanted to know about. And then just growing your business as a whole was the third, and learning how to develop your business and develop it in an effective way, whether it's going to places like Udemy, Etsy, Shopify, any of that. I want to bring on the people that are going to help us grow. Now, understanding that there's some areas, major gaps that we may not be seeing, and I want to hear from you guys. And this is my own heart, because I want to make sure that you guys are getting the content that you want to see. This is my life. This is what I love doing. I love talking to you guys, and I'm so excited. I mean, I'm looking up at my board right now. I have a board of all their guests coming on, and seriously, there's some amazing stuff coming. And I want to get engaged with you guys. If there's ways that I can personally help you, whether it's the information I have or the information we bring on, I want to help you guys do that. Now, Dean, one of the questions I had for you is, what is it that drove you to want to do the online side of things, whether that's marketing or the podcast? What is it that made you want to do this?
Mainly because I'm lazy and I don't like packing boxes. No, it's funny because, look, I know that because I've done the Amazon thing, I've done the eBay thing, and it's super profitable. I mean, it's if you do not have a business right now whatsoever, Amazon is by far the easiest way to get started. Doing Amazon fulfillment by Amazon. We have a free course. If you go to the onlineempireacademy.com, there's a resource library that you'll get access to that has a free course on how to do Amazon FBA. And there's other courses out there that are paid and stuff, like a proven Amazon course and stuff like that. And I did it, it was profitable and so on, but it just didn't fit my personality. I'm very systematic, if you can't tell. I mean, Josh, this whole podcast is based off of a system that took, something that took 2 to 3 hours to do. Josh does. How long does it usually take to go from episode to completed thing?
I mean, an hour at longest now.
Yeah. So it used to be 2-3 hours, and it's all lined up, systematic and stuff. I love being able to be completely independent. I'm not gonna be in a warehouse, or I'm not gonna be in my garage or anything like that, stuck like that. That's just my personality, even though I could probably be way more profitable doing the Amazon eBay thing, which kind of leads to what you had talked about before with some of the guests that we had on. Like I would have never thought of doing Udemy at all. And I listened to the podcast episode with Dave Espino, and I just thought to myself, holy moly, this is pretty dang cool. And so right away I jumped on and I created four different Udemy courses. And it's been pretty cool. It's actually been pretty dang cool. I have 1 free course and then 3 paid courses. The free course is really much more of like a lead generator for the Online Empire Academy. And just looking today I got 10 new leads. Sometimes it's usually anywhere between 10 to 25 new leads because of Udemy. And then on top of that, any little paid thing that comes through, it's a nice little thing that I really don't have to touch. I have a copywriting course, so that's pretty much evergreen. I really don't have to touch anything unless there's a question. Um, but yeah, that's kind of how I got. Yeah, that's why I stay in the online realm, is because I personally I like creating small little assets and then not having to do anything with them. I drop ship on Amazon because I all I have to do is set up the system and it's all done for me. So that's just my personality. So
Do you feel like this is a question that I've had people ask me and I've had myself? Do you feel like this is like a viable business if I mean, I totally get the appeal of it. I totally get what you're saying, where it's like, oh, I don't ever have to, touch it. I make it once, but it does take a specific brain, in my opinion. Looking at that, it takes a specific brain who understands the systems to create it. Do you think like a normal Joe Schmo? I mean, we're talking to an audience of people who are either professionals or beginners. I mean, everybody in between. So for the beginner, can can anybody go on and do that?
um, that's a good question. I mean, the easiest way would be to say, oh yeah, everyone could do it. Yeah, get out there and go at it. I know when I first started being an entrepreneur, I listened to Gary Vaynerchuk, and he was all about passion. Get out there, do your passion and everything. And I spent hours and hours and hours and hours doing my passion, and I got nowhere. Um, and so I don't want to say everyone can do it, but I think it's kind of a yes and a no, or it's kind of I don't even want to say a no, because you really just have to find, like, so for example, look at Brett. He has a multi-million-dollar business selling on Amazon, two warehouses across the one here, one across the United States. Um, can I do that? Probably not, just because my brain doesn't work that way. Can he do what I do? Definitely not, because his brain doesn't work that way. Um, do I want to do what he does? No. You couldn't pay me enough to manage warehouses and do those things. Does he want to do what I want that I do? No, he couldn't be paid enough to do what I do. So it's almost like, um, I don't know if I'm answering your question, but you have to go with where your brain's going. So if you're going to do something like Udemy, are you going to create one course and then just start making a ton of money? No, Udemy doesn't work that way. Uh, but could you use that as like a lead generator to get someone to, say, for example, say you like cooking and you do a course on how to cook a certain meal or whatever, certain types of meal. Could you use that as a lead generator, get people to your website, to where they can get a free ebook, and then they're on your email list and you can sell them like a monthly recipe thing? I don't see why not. I mean, it takes time. It takes a lot more time than finding a product at TJ Maxx and selling it for more on Amazon, but it's definitely doable. To me, I think it's definitely doable by most people, but it does. You definitely have to be realistic and see that it takes a lot of time to grow the online side.
Well, I think you touched on something and in a sense answered my question, and that was you have created amazing partnerships, and out of anybody I've ever worked for, and out of anybody that any company I've worked with, it's this company as the Online Empire Academy, and what Brett is doing as well. You guys are fantastic about creating win-win wins. Everybody's gonna win in the end, but it's you create, I don't know if symbiotic relationships is the correct term, but you create relationships that ultimately are not only lasting but a great fit. I mean, we just went through a lot of changes where I'm going to be focusing on the Online Empire Academy a lot more, and this is, doing the podcasts and doing the YouTube videos and blogs are going to be a huge part of my focus, and I think the adjusting and the shifting is something you guys are really good about. And for those who are starting, you may not be good at doing the online side of things, whether that's, your social media content, or doing things like Udemy or podcasts or webinars. You may not be good at that, but there may be somebody in your immediate circle that is, and somebody I mean, I've known Brett's wife forever. We're really good family friends, and it just so happened that all the connections came right, and I happened to be in his circle. And this is, then my journey began with this company. And I was out there garage sailing, and ultimately they found that the desires of my heart were to build a community and build a group of people who are passionate about the same thing. And so that's a 10-second version of my story. All that to say is, it was a relationship that was built, and there's people in your immediate circle who are really good at the tech side of things. If you're great at the tech side of things, there's people who are great at the sales side of things, and who would be great people to bring on for your Amazon and eBay businesses, and whatever site you're selling on. So
Totally,
make sure that you're
totally.
building those partnerships.
See, yeah, and that's I'm glad you brought that up, because it's funny, because out of all of the time, because I've been doing this for 6 years now, the hardest concept for me, and the concept that has brought the most money to my business, has been partnering with somebody. Why is it hard? Well, because I don't want to get, okay, I might hurt people's feelings, but guess what? Humans are greedy. I'm greedy. I'm totally, and I have to fight against that. It's just, it's a vice that a lot of people have, and most people have, especially when they're going into business. Because, I mean, you have to think about it. When you go into business, what do you need? You need to get money. You need to make money, obviously. And so you think, typical person's going to think, well, I'm going to go to business for myself, be a solopreneur, and I get to keep 100% of the profits. Brett taught me, and he was taught by Scott, that you always want to create win-win situations for a number of reasons. First is that you save a ton of time. I'll give you a perfect example. Well, I can give you a ton of examples, but we partnered up with someone who has software, and they didn't know how to market the software. They didn't know how to do all that stuff and build, and it was specifically for Amazon. And just through partnering, it took maybe 2 conversations. And yes, he doesn't keep 100% of the profits, and we don't get 100% of the profits, but we get a nice win-win split, which gave us software without having to develop it, gave us software for our business that actually we use on a daily basis, which is it's amazing. And and don't get me wrong, it's not even like a partner, like an actual partnership. It's more of like just like an agreement, almost like a handshake. But it has grown, that business has grown tremendously, because we're doing the marketing side, he's doing the development side, and something that would have taken 3 years, 5 years to do has taken less than a year to grow. I was telling you about it, and this is another example of partnership. We just did over, not this last weekend, but the weekend beforehand. I even brought in another marketing partner into the situation, and we ended up doing about 115,000 in a matter of 5 days. So with that particular piece of software, and that's all through partnership. Would we have been able to do that otherwise? No. Do we get 100% of the profits of it? No. Maybe we'll get 30 or 40, but 30% of 100,000 is much better than 100% of zero. So the point is that partnering allows you to speed up things very quickly, allows you to get a lot more revenue much more quickly, or actually profit much more quickly. And it allows you to build things like, so for example, with you and I, do I have to manage you all the time? No, because you're incentivized to go and do, I'm not getting, we even just talked about this, I'm not going to be end up taking really anything from the stuff that we make through our relationship for a while, because I'm focusing on other things. So I'm able to focus on software over here. Online Empire Academy is happening over here. I have my drop shipping happening over here. I have Brett and I stuff happening over here. I can literally run 5, 6, 7 businesses with in the amount of energy it takes to run one. So through that partnering, because I don't have to worry about you. I mean, you're doing like, you know, you're doing things on your end. Software guy's doing things on his end. I'm doing my end of the partnership. Brett's doing his, and it's just a nice symbiotic relationship that really brings in, you know, a ton of money in the long term for everyone.
Yeah. I think it's super interesting just talking about that. That's one of the things that Brett had taught me. And just to build out that side of things of, if you know somebody who can do something better than you, why wouldn't you bring them on your team? Now, obviously, don't spread
Totally.
yourself too thin, but like, you know, one of the best examples of this, and something I'm practicing this year, is I don't have time to necessarily go out and source product. It's just I don't have time to go to Walgreens or TJ Maxx or garage sales. I have X amount of time and I want to spend that with my wife. I mean, you know, I just got married, so I want to spend time building that relationship, building my family, rather than going out and sourcing product. And, you know, I have one day a week that I can do that, and I'd rather spend it doing other things. And so one of the things that I'm developing this year and desiring to move into is I want to keep my eBay business alive. One of the things I'm going to need to do is hire somebody on to go out and do that and go out and source those products. What I can do is create a win-win. And we talk about this in our handbooks. If you guys don't have our handbooks, those are in our resource page. But we talk about building a group of people around your business that are going to help it grow. And so I'm working with an organization that there may be opportunity to help people within our community get jobs, and I may be one of the people that will help them get a job, and they're going to be working for me, going out and sourcing products, doing my eBay listings, doing the shipping for me, and I take a cut of that as well as them. So build the relationships that ultimately are going to help your business grow as big as possible. Dean tells me this all the time, and it's something I absolutely love, and has been one of the greatest takeaways from this is, and he said it earlier, is I'd rather have 30% of $100 rather than 0% of $0, you know, or 100% of $0. And so for me, my thought process is I would rather share 50-50 with somebody rather than getting, you know, no money because I'm not out there sourcing.
Totally, totally. And like I said before, is that, I mean, I love that. I love the fact that you're even thinking that way, because most people, it is a very, very hard concept to, just from human nature to do. And but if you think about it, you know, if you're making, say, 20% from this little venture that you have over here, maybe you're helping somebody market their product or whatever. Like maybe, maybe you know how to create online courses on Udemy, and this person's paying you 20% of all the, leads and all that other stuff that come in through Udemy. So you're getting 20% over here. And then while you're doing that, you're helping another guy over here getting 20% and 20% and 20% and 20%. Now you're making 100% of that whole pot, that pool of revenue that's coming in. It's much easier to do that than to try and hit a home run with one business. And even Brett talks about this because people want to do that with Amazon private label stuff or wholesaling or whatever. They're like, how can I find that one product that's going to make me $10,000 a month? Well, why even do that? Why not find products you're going to be able to sell 5 to 10 a day, or even 1 to 5 a day, and just find 100 of those products. Little small wins that are much easier to launch, much easier to do. And in the long run, when you have all of those things going at the same time, you're able to then you're going to make more than just that one home run product and spend a lot less energy doing it. I just last night I was adding a whole bunch of new products from someone that I wholesale with, and just boom, 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 adding all these new products, and each one of them will probably sell maybe one a day, one every 2 days. But But, you know, if I added 10 products, and even conservatively, if it was every other day, you know, I'm selling, you know, maybe 5 a day of each one of those products, between 3 and 5 a day of each one of those products. That was much easier to do than to go and spend hours and hours and hours and hours and hours researching that one winning product, when now I'm making 5 sales a day across the board on these things. So it's kind of the same concept of you know, find somebody, rather than, you know, obviously we're not talking about products, but find somebody who needs what you have, partner up, and just even just say a small percentage. You know, don't say, hey, let's do this 50-50. Even just say, hey, 20-80, and we'll every quarter we'll kind of relook at what the situation is or whatever, and you can very quickly grow some really cool win-win situations through that.
That's so good. I love it. I love it. My brain is full, and I'm really excited about this. And so, for those of you who are wanting to get to know us more, I mean, you heard a little bit about our story and where we've come from and where we're going, and some of the avenues that we're pushing into. Go to the onlineempireacademy.com. And if you haven't joined our email list, there's absolutely amazing things. We give away stuff in the emails all the time, but you also get to see what's coming next in those emails. So go join that. As well as, if you do that, you get our first 4 handbooks free, and there's some exciting stuff coming with that. So stay tuned. If you want to get on, like, go and watch our show, the best way to do that is YouTube. We're posting any interviews that I have. We're posting that, and some exclusive content is going on that, as well as pretty much any podcast platform, whether it's iTunes, Stitcher Radio, all the other ones. We're pretty much everywhere on the podcast realm. So you guys, thank you so much for being with us for 100 episodes. Oh my gosh, it's so crazy. 100 episodes. I feel so blessed that you've joined us for this journey. And again, we'd love to hear from you guys. But most of all, we have the special for you, and that is the tax webinar. So we're going to post all the links in the description below, whether it's on YouTube or iTunes, or our blog on the onlineempireacademy.com. So go check it out there, guys. I'm so excited. And Dean, thank you so much for being on and sharing your history and sharing some of your top ideas.
Oh, no problem. No problem. Thanks for having me on.
Yes.
I miss being on the podcast.
Well, anytime.
No, actually, you don't want it to be any time, because then people are like, okay, do you have any other guests?
That's true. That's a good thing. I didn't think about that. All right, guys.
All right, man.
Well, until next time, Empire, have a fantastic day, and go look for that link. It's 100% free. Get those taxes done, guys. See you later.
See ya.